So good afternoon. Welcome to the Roads and Right-of-Ways Committee meeting for today, May 21st. We're meeting hybrid fashion, and we have one of our members is on Zoom. So as a result, we will be doing a roll call for all attendance votes. Reminder that to please mute your device when you're not speaking, and we will move along. That being said, let's do a roll call. Alan Reinhardt.
Here.
Lee Saperstein.
Here.
Bill Smith.
Here.
Ed Gillum.
Here.
Rob Rennie.
Here.
Bill Breeder. And make note that we have a guest at the table today. Tracy McDonald, will be introducing her. She's taken Ken Bogrant's job as the land specialist, I guess is the title.
Oh, real estate specialist.
Real estate specialist, and brings a wealth of knowledge to the role and certainly to this meeting. So welcome her, and we have another guest from Wisconsin Civic Association, and that's Carol Greenberg. So on the first,
Bill,
yeah.
if you just hit OK, then we can see the little,
I gotta go ahead and do that.
little vignettes. Oh, I'm sorry. Didn't realize it's a different machine.
Yeah, well, it's
Great. Thank you, Bill.
yeah, it's kind of funky because otherwise I have to sit over here.
Your pizza's ready.
Yeah. So the first order of business is to approve the minutes from April the 16th, 2024.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Alan, seconded by Bill. Second. Any discussion? Hearing none. Ready, roll call. Alan Reinhardt.
What are we doing? Approving the minutes.
Oh,
Aye.
Lee Saperstein.
Aye.
Bill Smith.
Aye.
Ed Gillum.
Aye.
Rob Rennie.
Abstain.
And chair says aye. Thank you.
Bill,
yeah.
If I just might comment as far as minutes, I've got to say we are blessed to have Lee taking minutes for our committee. And I say that because I've been reading some of our back minutes. Right? And the detail that's in those minutes, this is from years ago.
Yeah.
That Lee, I'm saying, oh my gosh, here it is in writing.
Yeah.
So, anyway, I just want to acknowledge that.
Thank you, Alan. You're very kind. I inherited the job from Deanne Atherton, and she set the standard. She
did.
She actually took notes on her computer, which I did for a while, and then I realized that if I had a dual role of discussion and taking notes. So, but yes, thank you, Alan.
Well, and it is a lifetime appointment, you know that. So, duly noted. At this point, any public comment on items not on the agenda? And seeing none, we'll move along to Concept Bluff Walk update. So, one of the last times that we met, and this was on the agenda, we were
Hey, Dan.
the record will show that Matt Lowell is now here, and so we can check him off on the attendance there.
So here next to Bill.
And we talked last time.
I don't know if you'll be making. Oh, you are.
We were trying to come up with re-identifying the known public access to the bluff. From wherever onto the bluff walk itself. We did several walks in groups, individually. Some of us met with the butters, and Phil's idea was for us to do a combined march of as many members as we could get, and go through, especially after Phil went out on his own and tried to find access from Baxter Road for a couple of places. And so when he had called me, he said, "Oh, what's the access? What's the street number?" And I was embarrassed to say I couldn't tell him. Then I pulled up the previous documents, and it was ambiguous at best. It would say end of Nosegay Lane or whatever.
Yeah.
So thinking back when the Wisconsin Association came forward to try to do the signage, I looked at the signage and I thought, wow, if we could get what they put out there publicly, we could use that as a benchmark. And I'm going to actually pull that up so that we can put it up on the screen and see here. Just bear with me a second.
Bill, when I first noticed on the new signs that they put up, where they had the six, I think there were 6 of the ways they identified. And I was surprised, because that's one of the reasons I was going through all my old minutes to see where, you know, what had happened, because it was over a period of time where town council, or not town council, maybe I forget who it was. It must have been the head of the DPW, whoever was the head at that time. But so anyway, I thought that map was maybe a good indication. They must have gotten those streets or those ways from somewhere. So they've got to be, you know, inscribed somewhere.
All right, so Carol was gracious enough to reach back to her predecessor, who was sort of spearheaded the re-signing, and lo and behold, they had 6 locations marked on the website. So I'm going to put this up now. So these are the sites that they used. And let me bring this up a little larger so you can read it.
Oh, that's very helpful. That's good. Yeah.
So my thought is, and I wanted your concurrence to see if you thought this was a good plan of action. My thought is that we use these 6 points as official at this point. Go out. I'm thinking that we take a photograph on each side of the access point, both on the street side and the bluff walk side, and document whatever signage is or isn't there, and actually have a little sign in the photograph so that we can tell looking at it, because a path is a path sometimes in a photograph. And then we'll know what we need for markers, be they upright or flat. Once we determine the quantity and type, since we A, don't have a budget, B, have at the most 1 or 2 uprights and 0 flat monuments. And once we determine what we have and what we need, we could go to our overseers, the select board, and say, this is what we have, this is what we need, and you know, where do we go from here? Do we go to the DPW, out of their budget? Do we go to the select board from their budget? But somebody's gotta come up with the funds, for that.
I think it's a great idea.
Ed?
Well, I was gonna say the very same thing, and that, but also was gonna counter question the last two, 63 and 61, 65 and 67. Is that also extant? Are they still? Are they both accident points?
I don't know, we have
I
to,
think there's only.
we gotta,
one
this is what they have on their
but-
website,
But I
so,
have to go look and see.
right. So I figure this is a starting point that we can at least, have a target. Lee?
Just to bring everybody up to date, Alan and I did do this 2 or 3 years ago. Documented it, and, there is a memo on file, which I'm happy to share.
Okay.
Yeah. Got this op of it right there.
Furthermore, I think the way to proceed is to ask the DPW to help us with the monuments. They're more than we have because we have 0, but they're not that expensive, and they may well just be able to fold it into one of their budgets.
Right, and they are town ways as well. Right. So
Okay.
the original stones that we put in were donated.
Yep.
By
Neil.
Neil Patterson. So
The flat ones too, John.
yeah, the flat ones were,
Alan.
in fact, the 6 missing flat ones that
I haven't seen any in anyone's house or in their yards, just so you know.
Like a lot of,
They haven't just
like a
showed
lot
up
of street
somewhere.
signs, they're hanging from somebody's wall, except for the fact that they weigh 100 pounds.
well, the flat ones aren't that heavy because I put those in.
It might be part of somebody's fireplace someplace.
Yeah, I'm afraid.
So anyway, how does that sound as a, way to go forward? Anybody have any?
I think it's a great idea, and I'd be happy to help.
Yeah,
take some pictures.
Bill, let's get the memo out. Because the memo does say how many stones need to be purchased.
Okay.
I'll share that with you, and, because the agenda item was unclear as to what we were gonna do, otherwise I'd have had a copy here.
Yeah.
And-
That agenda is a reflection of my mind.
Okay. What, empty? No, I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
And
Bill, I welcome your support. I really think that, we have a good relationship with Drew Patnode. And, the way to start is lower down within DPW, because I don't think we're gonna get any resistance. I think we'll get a lot of help.
Okay. And,
We're also melded into how many other ones we need for the other projects. I mean, when you go, rather than go from multiple asks, go to one ask.
I understand what you're saying, Ed. I think that once he knows what we need, we can alert him that there may be more, but right now we don't know what they are in number.
May I say something? When
yeah,
you originally,
hang on, yeah, Cal, hang on, we got, a town official here that will.
oh, I'm sorry.
First and then you, so. Tracy?
So what's the
Welcome.
question? Whether we're gonna go to DPW
No,
for
do
funds
you have any,
additional regarding the access points?
or thoughts on, that plan of action?
No, I think that's a good plan. Have all the access points been, they're verified through like these maps? These like older maps, or just for general use? Is that, I know you've walked them and that's historically how they've always been.
Well, the town did the takings for them. How many years ago, Lee?
Well, our select board candidate proposed it when he was a member of the select board last. Tracy, they're identified in ATM warrant articles.
Okay,
So they haven't
Andrew.
been
Email.
official access points for that long. Unofficially, they may have been there since the flag donation.
Right, that's pretty much
You're
it.
more concerned with their title taken. That's.
They are.
that's my job.
I'm 99% sure.
So, yeah.
So it was taking and conveyance with the reservation of 8 or 10 foot easement.
Right,
Down the middle of each
Yeah.
one of them.
Right,
Rosalie's is the perfect example of that.
right, yeah.
And that has the flat stone. Rosalie.
Do we need a motion or anything?
Yeah.
No.
I just say we do a
In a little
consensus.
ways.
Yeah.
from where
See
parking
if we
car.
can, so, before we get moving for Carol?
I just wanted to mention, and I'm happy to get the background because we, had to go through several committees to put these signs up. If you haven't walked the Bluff Path recently, they went up, I'd say, Drew's office put them up, hand delivered them to Drew, and they were put up in October, November, maybe. Our new signage, one at the beginning of the walk, one at the end. I'm happy to get you from my predecessor, all the background for those 6 points, because we didn't just, make them up. So I'm happy to see what research she has on file if you need that. Also, Drew, Pat note he walked the path recently. I think I mentioned that to you, because I'm the one who told him about the stone. I was concerned about it being a tripping hazard. And then Alan went out and fixed the stone, but Drew was going to be right out there to fix it. So he's well aware of what's going on at the path, and he's been a great, great friend of ours.
Carol, this is Lee.
Hi,
I was
Lee.
out there this morning. The signs look great, but you do have a seagull problem that Alan can share with you from the signs that they put up on the land bank, how to keep the birds off, because the sign I saw had a great big splotch in the middle of the QR code.
Well, someone must have cleaned it because I just got back from there. So that's funny.
So there are these little wire guards that keep the birds off the top of the sign.
Well, then above our sign, I'm sure you saw, is a big red and white sign. It's very lovely that says, "Be careful of the exposed, the exposed roots, the trees."
All right, so, I'll draft up,
I will say that the sign at the end of the way, and by end, I mean the water end, has become exposed a little bit. And
Right, I was just gonna mention.
And Alan and I might go out there at his convenience and reset it.
Yeah, that's a bigger stone for some reason, and it's, when I was out there to fix the first stone, the one on Baxter Road, I could do that where I'd taken a shovel with me and some other hand tools, so I could do that. The other one, the stone is quite a bit bigger, and I didn't have whatever equipment, and I wasn't sure where we would put it because the path is right there. And I'm not sure if we could set it down deep enough and not have it happen again with the erosion.
I got an idea. So I just need your calendar. We'll go out there. Do you have a pickaxe, Matlock? I've got a shovel, but I don't have a pick.
I don't. I'm just trying to think if I have a crow. I don't think I have a crowbar.
At least go back to his mining days there. Okay.
Kid said the shift boss, and this is not going to go in the minutes. I want to see your head down, your ass up, and your elbows flying.
I'm sure
I was 18. Man, what a lesson.
I'm sure that we can handle it. Just,
Two shovels.
yeah, 2 shovels will probably do it. And then we just need to figure out where we're going to put the stone. And
I think Alan has plenty of space to the side of their sign in what's now the grassy area, because then people won't be walking over.
That's good.
okay, so.
Would you like me to get that information that we talked about, where the 6 points came from?
Sure.
Any background? Okay.
Yeah. That'd be
That could
great.
even be one of our little appendices on our website.
Yeah. So, thank you for that, Carol, and, we can, I definitely want to take pictures of both sides, so when we're discussing these things and we talk about it, we can pull it up and say, this is what's there now, this
I
is
thought we had pictures.
whatever, so.
I think we do.
We'll go digging. We may have pictures already.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I probably have them right on my camera.
Yeah. The only thing, the ones I saw was like the time that we went out for the walk, I took a bunch of pictures, but then I got home and I'm saying, okay, what address is that? Because we didn't bother to take the time to
Right.
It's easy.
figure that out,
to
so.
do the addresses.
Anyway, okay. So by consensus, that's our course of action. For that. Also, the other thing we noticed, we promised, that when we met with some of the abutters, that we'd look at some encroachments that had happened. But the ones that were brought to us were the path that encroached onto what folks thought were their property, and actually, one of the abutters recently had done a survey and showed us that the path indeed did cross onto the little markers that the surveyor put in and stuff. And so we just said, yes, we can look at that, and it goes both ways once we start looking at it. So going forward, that's just something we're gonna have on our plate to document that, and then try to work with the abutters to get it squared away and find out what needs to be done to remedy the situation. Same for the stairs along the bluff area. The report that Jeff Carlson gave to the town back
2015.
Flagged the existing stairs and the locations and the state of the permits at that time. So we need to revisit that. We assured the abutters that this was going to be a low-key appraisal and solution, but it's something that needs to be done. Unfortunately, Tracy is very familiar with that area. In her previous life, one of her previous lives, she was very involved in that area, so she's well versed in that whole thing.
The Sconset Bluff Footpath Subcommittee report, which was an extensive report, had in one of its appendices a review of the stairs, including the state of licenses for those stairs.
Right. Was that in 2010 though? That preceded the 2015 one, right? That was 2010, I believe, that report, right?
Yes, yeah, no, so the report and the natural resources Carlson report are two separate documents.
Right, but there was some documentation in that report about the stairs as well.
Yeah, oh, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly, and that's the important thing.
Right.
I thought that was on our website somewhere.
It might well be. The flag. I'm trying to make sure I say this coherently and cogently. Flag established two large plots of land in the 1870s and 1890s. When he sold individual plots, and there was a name for that area, it was something village or whatever. Each plot was defined as being bounded on the east by town land, except for three.
It was Atlantic Heights.
And those three plots of land extend out into the water. They go down over the bluff and out into the water. And for those three, I think the town has an easement for the path over those three plots of land. Those plots, if they have stairs, presumably do not need a license. But because they're on the bluff, they may need Concom conditions.
When the land bank put the stairs down where the Wade cottages are, near the beginning of the path there, we of course had to go to the Concom and get all the permission and everything else, and then built the stairs because there was a way from the top of the bluff all the way out to the water. And
you did the stairs on the way, right?
Mhm.
You did your stairs on the way.
Yes,
Right,
correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And the way is, you know, the way is still there. You can use those stairs and people from Wade Cottages use it to go out to the beach. It's right next to, I think it's Bill Belichick owns that lot that's at the bottom of the hill.
Is the one of the three that go to the water, is the easement subject, is it a one big beach kind of easement, or is it
I think
just
they're older than
independent?
that. I think
Yeah, I
they're
don't
older
think
than that.
I think they're, yeah, I think they're,
Yeah.
yeah.
Exactly.
And the only way of finding them is to look at the individual deeds for the three properties.
And of course, the other thing is, reason for us redoing this is, if they're on town property, there's some responsibility for safety and insurance purposes and all that. And as we noted when we did the walk, several of them need more than TLC. And one of them looks like it is beyond that, needs to head to the landfill. So there's just that responsibility also. So it's another reason we have to do this. Ed?
Through you, Bill, can I ask Carol a question, as to whether there's any enforcement planned on a private basis after this summer?
So there's been conversation with the residents about employing a security person, but no, there hasn't. Other than we have 3 community service officers during the summer, and they do monitor, I'd say, the path, you know, make sure people park their bikes at the bike rack at the market, or, you know, if they catch them in between people speeding and going the wrong way around the rotary. So, you know, they're
They
doing
just
the
haven't come
best
to
they
work when
can.
people were doing their morning yoga on the lawns, right?
Exactly. So they're great, but you know, nobody's standing there all day long.
Anything else on the block? No?
Just for your information, we have, let's see, we have 8 upright monuments. Those are the big ones that weigh about 400 to 500 pounds.
So you'll take 6 of those in your car and.
Yeah, right.
Oh, that's good.
Actually, it was the members of the Roads and Right of Way Committee that put those in. You notice the photographs of, where are those photographs? Are those?
They are in the file that's on the website. It's the full spreadsheet of all the monuments, and for each
Right.
monument, there's a photograph, and some of them feature you and me, others are just feature the background.
Right, yeah. But we made a point to take photographs of I think there were 36 altogether that we put in so far. Or, no.
So you were
So
trying
far.
to date them that way, huh?
Yeah, right. Well, we did have some help. We had one of the members of the committee had access to a bobcat and a trailer to haul it around, and the truck.
That was one of the Viscos.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah, David did that.
But that was pretty interesting. So we would go out, dig the hole, and put the post in, fill in around it, and then we would take a picture of it.
So Nantucket sand makes for pretty easy digging.
Yeah.
Bill?
When I was out there, there were several walkways going down to the beach. Some of them were labeled private, some not labeled at all. And I understand from one of our earlier meetings that some of the ones that were labeled private are really not private. Is that correct?
Correct, yeah.
I mean, do we want to get in the middle of that one?
I don't think so. I don't think that's something we want to open up because
Well, because you have more people finding out about this access.
Oh.
Trying to not make it so popular, right?
Well, this is just, once you're on the path.
I know, but you know what I mean.
Well, I have a kind of a divergent opinion about this. I think that if they weren't private and they're not private, you don't draw attention to them, but you just take the private side off.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
quite frankly, they shouldn't be marked.
Well, that's what I was getting at.
Yeah.
I think that's just a
I mean, it's-
conversation to have.
Yeah, that's an individual
easy.
conversation on a low key
Yeah.
level.
So in my thought process on this, because I am gonna have a meeting with Jeff Carlson and try to figure out the permitting part of this, is if in fact it's marked private and it's public and you know they didn't pay for the permit, that's not gonna, that can't be happening. You know, they can't mark it private and it's public and then they don't have any licensing for it or anything like that. So they'll, you know, my idea is they would get a letter kindly saying, you know.
Exactly.
So there's somebody actually gonna follow up on this.
Yeah, I think so, because I'm gonna go down the line with
Okay.
Jeff Carlson and try to figure out where we're at with regulation and kind of sort it out. And
So Tracy, I'm pleased to appoint you as successor of 50% of the encroachment committee. The other
Which-
50% being Drew Patno.
yes, exactly.
That's my understanding of how it worked.
Yeah, I mean, we gotta figure it out and then I'll have to sort out what's involved.
Exactly, yeah.
I mean, I am a title examiner, so I can run everybody's title right down the line.
So if Carol's still on, I guess this might be of interest to you and your committee.
Yeah, I mean, if we can help in any way, you know, we're happy to do so because the residents do reach out to us, as you know. So we're happy to help.
Great.
But when I was walking today, I was wondering if it says private and it's town, someone goes down there, or if it's not labeled and someone has a fall, what happens? Do they turn around and sue the town? What happens in these situations?
Carol, this is Lee. I think that really needs to be answered by an attorney. But I would guess that the steps are private in that they were built by the landowner, but they are not, the public is not restricted from using them. I would say it would be the landowner's liability, but I'm not sure about that.
And if they trip from the exposed roots on the bluff,
That's a town.
I know.
They're,
I think I can sort of
Great,
answer it.
Please, I just would like to know, even though we
So,
get the signage.
so if you build something on public property, you need to ask permission and then you get a license. So, and then when they get a license, they pay for that license. And they also provide a hold harmless to the town with insurance attached to it. So then that becomes their responsibility. But we have to grant the license and they have to ask permission and they have to do the plans and the permitting. And that's usually how it works all over town for anybody who wants to do anything like that over town property.
So is the walk itself, which is
It's public, right?
public, and someone takes a spill there with the roots that unfortunately exposed,
Right,
that's what you're talking about.
right.
On-
But
on that-
if they have stairs down to the beach going over public property and they don't have a license for that and they're marking it private,
They're liable.
then that's what I would be perfecting that encroachment.
Okay, thank you.
From a layman's point of view, I would think that your question about the roots and stuff, you don't have to go to Wisconsin Bluff to come into that situation. You can walk down any of the sidewalks.
Oh, Main Street.
Yeah, where the sidewalk is, you know, the DPW is doing all kinds of work trying to fix that, but there's tons of sidewalks
That would be town issue.
messed up with the roots. Lee?
so I'm thinking in the future, it is a town path. There are ways to treat natural paths with, say, shredded pine or pine bark. Alan, you're familiar with some of that in Tuppence, at least the first few yards of it. And if it becomes a problem, we should, we're advisory, we should ask the town to think about it.
And Drew may, you know, when we go out and do a walk with him at particular locations, he may come up with that as just a remedy, without us having to get involved. They're just places that are there, where it's washed out.
Well, there's some tree
There are
limits.
several places, it's like a trench because there's been so much.
Well, there's tree limits that are low that hit people in the head too,
Yeah.
sometimes.
Mm.
I mean, there's, but it's like you say, it's.
Yeah.
I think what Carol's more concerned with, the owner's gonna be responsible, if someone gets their head on the path. I think it's public path, it's gonna be the town, it's not the owner.
And the town does maintain the path as well. I mean, they mow, they send somebody in to trim and mow and all
But
that. sort of-
maintenance is sometimes a loose word. You don't have young fellow over here. now
15.
Mowing everyone.
15 years old.
15-year-old out there mowing.
Earl picked me up at lunch. That's Sankey. Knew how long it would take to get there. Couldn't believe it.
So Carol, anyway, don't add this for the reason to have a sleepless night, but it's just something going forward we're gonna be working on.
Okay. Okay, let us know, let me know. I'm happy to reach out to our membership. We have our July meeting, our membership meeting. I could certainly mention anything that needs to be, publicized to our members. So I'm happy to help out.
Can I ask Carol one more question?
Oh, me too. Go ahead, you go first.
Carol, in your membership, I know about your meetings and whatnot, do you have like for lack of a better word, a subcommittee of butters to the Bluff Path perhaps?
For the Bluff Path,
Yeah, or like, you know what I mean, like.
we have
As a subcommittee or something, or as a.
well, we have a board. Is that what you mean?
Well, no, of the, in other
Of the
words.
Bluff? No,
It's a Wisconsin Civic Association, so all of Wisconsin, but do you have a specific group that weighs in as a group on the Bluff Path, I guess you could say, that because they're butters?
no.
Might be a.
I've been really the only contact person with the residents there.
So, Carol, I just was curious, if you decide, or if there is discussion over, some sort of private enforcement of the path, I think you might have to go to select board for that. I don't think that you can have private over our public path.
So Tracy, our civic association wouldn't
Okay.
be involved with that. That would be up to the home owners.
Right.
They would need to get together and pay for that, and it's not something that, we would get involved in.
Okay.
It's like a Lincoln Circle, the one that stays up for Steps Beach
Yeah.
late at night. It's somewhat similar to that situation. People pay.
Well, especially if there's a new sheriff in town, so.
That's kind of what I'm
Yeah,
thinking.
we need to, we used to do a lot of things that we can't do anymore.
So Tracy, just to confirm, so you're saying, because there has been conversation about that they would have to go to town to get a permit to have private security.
I believe so, yes. I think it would be probably through the police station or Amy Baxter.
Maybe easy.
I know who she is. Okay.
Yeah. I just want you to be aware, there
thank you for
has to
telling
be another step there, but.
Yeah, no, because sometimes they act on their own and they'll just go ahead and
Exactly.
an
Exactly.
ex-police officer, and I'm like, so absolutely. Okay, thank you for telling me that.
Okay, is that it on the bluff subject?
Yeah.
Okay, Carol, you're welcome to stay, or?
I just wanted to say, I think there's one area when you come out here that someone might have planted a tree in that right of way. I forget I don't have it in front of me, which access point. It could be like 4 or 5. So I don't know if you could just clue me in so I'm prepared for any phone calls I might get. I can send you, Bill, that exact address.
Okay, that'd be
That'd be
great.
useful.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Okay. Now we're pointing the agenda of other business and member comments. Anybody have any questions for Tracy as far as or thoughts on, for example, our, Hawthorne's Street, Surfside, that whole scenario?
I have follow-up with that. I had a very lovely conversation with Dee Dee Coyne. Her husband
Oh, yeah.
is the president of the Surfside Association, asking me specifically what was happening with Hawthorne and the beach access, and they want like a lookout or something there. You know, the town took Hawthorne, and you know, they have concerns that we're going to convey to the neighbor. I had a long conversation with Andrew Vorse about it. We have no plans to do that, even in the near future, but it's land court on the one abutter's side. The other one is not. So the process is we either have to pay him for that portion of the land court plan because he owned to the midline, or, you know, convey it to him. And
Is this on the Middleton side?
is that the older woman that just passed away? There's
Yes.
one,
I
so
think so.
that's the unregistered side.
That's the unregistered.
Exactly. So the idea would be, long time in the future, that we retain that side and that maybe convey the other side, but still keeping the ability to open the path.
Right.
But
It's a 30-foot path.
But we now have this coastal resilience whole bylaw and other things going on. And so that becomes a whole planning thing with coastal resilience and other parties. And I explained that to her. It's right. So it's a part of it. Like, it would be multiple channels it would have to go through before it even got to the point of anything happening.
Is this the way where Drew Patnode said there are complications?
Yes.
Yes.
Exactly.
There, physically, it's not easy to get down to the beach.
Exactly.
Okay. Right, and also there's a Concom setback that you can't mow past a certain
Right.
area anyway, so that's why Dee Dee's saying it's a lookout, because you could get a little closer to look at the water.
But even to do that would involve
She-
multiple town agencies
I think
to,
she just doesn't want to be given this yard sale program.
right, exactly.
Yeah,
And what I tried to explain to her is that to the midline, there's really, there's two choices there.
Because the subdivision property on the east side toward the airport was subdivided and recently sold to someone who's going to be
Right.
building something.
But
else.
what I
That
also
side
told
is
her,
concerned.
what that process with land court, just to the midline, it requires us going to land court with a land court subdivision plan and then getting a new certificate of title in our name for that parcel to be able to convey that parcel. That's probably 5 years.
Yeah.
You know,
Exactly.
it's a long process in the land court. So I don't think it's anytime soon, but I said to her, it would be multiple channels, that there would be no way they wouldn't know about it.
Boy, nobody trusts anybody.
Mhm.
So how wide is it? 30 feet or 40?
Can't remember.
I
The whole way.
thought it was 30.
Is it a 30?
I
Not
think
40.
it is 30.
I mean,
Not that it hasn't eroded to
under-
some different size, but
yeah. Does she understand that like 30 feet's pretty big?
yeah.
Here's a
It's
picture
a lot
of
bigger
it.
than walking.
It is, I don't know correct glasses, but this is the subdivision of the lot next door in the plot plan.
Right, see, that looks pretty
So
big.
the way is, I think it could be 40.
But most
Yeah.
of them were, I believe. But
Well, some of the pre-1955 and 30s, but I don't
Yeah.
know. But the, it's an other business
Yeah.
question, actually be good with Tracy here as well. And unfortunately, since I got called to my youngest daughter's graduation in Charleston and the flights were changed, I could not go to town meeting. I had to spend the night in a hotel so I could leave at crack of dawn and make Charleston. But in any event, I was wondering, in the town meeting itself, there were a number of articles with access and things like this. Does anyone want to weigh in on any issues that came up with any of them, perhaps? And I noticed there's one for East Hollowell, that
that I cannot talk about,
I know
but,
you can't talk about that. Yeah.
but that is tabled. It's withdrawn from the agenda. I know it was in the paper,
Oh, okay, so it's all,
but
okay.
it's withdrawn. And the agenda says, or is going to say something new, like
Okay.
the matter called for public hearing is, you know.
Gotcha. There was over Western, like I mean, they had certain things that were at town
That I
meeting.
don't know, yeah, so none of the articles got called, that were the real estate articles, and so I'm supposed to have a meeting about all the ones, you know, because now it's just called for no action or whatever, so,
Okay.
or whatever they were. And so we have to go through and tick through and make a list,
There
so,
was even the one off of Grant Ave or Cabot.
Yeah,
Right there.
that I do know what's
Where the
happening
way
with
went
that.
down like that and.
Yeah.
that
So what I can do is, once I have this meeting, I can I can make a presentation if you want me to.
I mean, that might be interesting.
That'd be
These
helpful.
are public ways.
You know, there's a lot of them are trading type situations, for a public purpose, or to get them with the proper steward. You know, a lot of it's a trade, you know, or, you know, conveying to the land bank to be the steward of it, to maintain it. So I can definitely tick through the
Well, that
list.
would be a
And
great update. I mean, I know there's not that many of them, but it still.
no, there's not, but I can
But some
definitely,
of
because
them
I have to
still
do it anyways.
Kind of
So,
under our purview is
Hmm.
public access or not.
so maybe on the next agenda, you can, if you want to put out a line item for that, I can do that.
What would you like to call it?
Thank you.
Maybe warrant article presentation, or on real estate articles or something like that.
Must have been busy after town meeting.
I'm busy all the time. It's like one thing after another.
Now, you were so circumspect at town meeting.
Circumspect,
You,
Professor, come
you
on.
held your
What does that
tongue.
mean?
You
Oh,
held your
well, that's
tongue.
because Sarah didn't see me, like multiple times.
Unlike you, Lee, when I heard confusing people in the auditorium.
That's part, let me tell you, that's part of the plan, some people, to confuse everyone.
No,
They're
the
doing a good
issue,
job of it too.
I'm not criticizing that. I'm complimenting him, because the number of people who stood up and spoke most enthusiastically about nonsense
Yeah, I know.
was difficult to deal with. They didn't know what they were
It's,
talking about, but they
it-
were certain they did.
They were enthusiastic.
Oh, yeah, and very often.
This is one of the things
And very often tripped up
that,
a good motion.
So that's,
Uh,
I'm gonna rein it back in.
yeah. I knew that was coming.
So any other items that the board would like to bring up?
Just, Bill, when you're going home, take a quick run out Warren's Landing Road and then turn around, go back. Just look at them rocks there. Remember we talked about that? It's actually gotten bigger. I was actually kind of surprised.
Which road is this?
Well, I call it, you know, when you go past Fisher's Landing, right? Keep
Oh,
going,
yeah.
turns to dirt. You go to the backside of Eel Point, go Warren's Landing way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you'll see these, like this little section, all of a sudden, we've just decided that a pulling over like we've been doing since 1920 is now a problem.
Yeah, exactly.
And all I can think of is, what about all the other places that we're pulling over? And I don't know if that is is that public? Lawrence, that's gotta be.
Eel Point Road is private, but Warren's Landing Road from Eel Point out to the water is public
Yeah,
and maintained by.
so
the
this
town.
is public then, this
Right.
part.
Yeah.
It's just, you know, we get into this whole encroachment conversation and it kind of goes, you know, it depends on what it's doing. Like I've never agreed with, this is ours and that's it. It depends on the situation, depends on what's needed. And that spot that's been kind of turned into a 10-foot road.
Yeah.
It's pretty
exactly.
amazing how skinny it got. You gotta go look at it, that's all I'm saying.
And
I was out
those-
there the other day again, and it's a little bit bigger than it was the last time.
Well, it might be, something that, we note and send over to the fire department.
Well,
For them to have
yeah.
check out, because, the DPW has started, when Drew came in and we had a conversation with him, they started to work on identifying encroachments and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But, you know, if they weigh in
Yeah.
on that road for access to get machines on, because that is a
It's
backup.
a little tight.
It is.
I don't know if these people even realize that you can't drive through Eel Point Road. You have to go one or the other.
So
That's
not,
how it works.
not, where is it with respect to the built-up area of Fisher's Landing?
It's
Right.
past it.
It's right after Fisher's.
It's like in
Landing.
the 40s.
Right, when Fisher's Landing
Yeah,
ends,
keep going, take a
there's
right.
a stretch, the road makes a sharp left-hand turn,
Yeah,
and then,
Is it where they took down the telephone poles?
there's a new
yeah, I forget
house.
if that's
new
Warren
project,
Landing Road or if that's Eel Point Road at that
No, that's
point.
Warren's
Still-
land.
That's Warren,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
And those stones are dangerous
They're
because
small.
it makes it a one-lane road.
It's,
A car
it's,
coming the other way,
it takes away that jiggle that we do out there. Like there's some
Yeah.
spots that are 1.5 cars, you just kind of pull over. They've taken that ability away in quite a long stretch.
It's a private road.
I thought you just said it was public. I wanted to.
No, at the,
At the
at the point where the dirt road goes to the water, that's public. But Warren's Landing Road becomes Eel Point Road at that intersection, and that's all private.
I think you're talking about the other end.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
But it's
Hey,
still a safety thing.
Nat,
either
It
way,
should be public.
I mean, that's another-
Alan and I found the public way marker at that intersection.
okay. Just, and the fire chief sent us a letter. I haven't talked to you guys. I'm sorry I missed the last 3 meetings. The timing has been horrific. But
So I think the
I wanted to just
suggestion,
talk to you guys about
the
that.
suggestion to let DPW know that we're concerned. We don't have, the town doesn't have authority except for emergency access.
Yeah,
The fire
I just
should
think
be
it's a,
emergency, and you
I
need
think it's
16
more
feet.
about a,
You need 16 feet for a fire.
I think it's more about like just logic, you know, a couple feet wider there. I mean, whatever. Like, it's not necessary to be that
And you
narrow.
need 16 feet for a fire engine. So that would be 6 feet. right?
No, not
Well,
really,
that's
but
what they, second dwellings, and all that mess they try to say.
I know, but
We
that's.
do with 12.
So I just wanted to say real quick, fire chief sent us a letter the other day, because this is a new fire chief. And I've been through this before, all of us have in some various capacities. When somebody new comes here, first thing they see is all these narrow roads and strange things that we have, like Ash Street's 2-way, things like that. And I'll never figure that one out, but anyway.
The problem with
They-
that section of
yeah.
road is that people use it to get out to Fort Pole. Or
No.
out to Eel Point.
Eel Point Park.
Yeah, where the foundation owns, and the foundation has a parking space for 2 places. So
Yeah.
that-
No, I know, and then you got that old Conservation Commission land there on the left, that people go there too. But
Okay.
anyway, so I just wanted to say, so he discussed about width and kind of.
We'll take a look at
His
it.
opinion about 20 feet as sort of a minimum, and so I'm gonna talk to him. I've been tagged with that conversation, because it's just depends on where it is. There's so much stuff that's happened over the years, and you know, so anyway.
A lot of it, I'm sure not all of it, but a lot of it may be mollified by, passing along knowledge. You got a nice place here, we'd like to be able to reach you in case of emergency, and
Yeah,
right now we can't.
it can, what I'm saying is, you know, first way is 14 feet wide and everything's working good. You know, it doesn't mean it needs to be 20. I mean, that's all I'm trying to
Once you
say.
get up to ramming speed,
The bus makes it down.
But
anybody
it's
else
pretty,
can do
it works. You just have to leave things the way they are in certain things.
I guess it's other business or something I've thought about for quite some time, but it really comes under the encroachment thing. And I can bring up the areas in Wisconsin, I can bring up areas in Lincoln Circle, very more,
Yeah.
all over the place, rocks.
Yeah.
those
All
obstructions.
such, yeah.
And I know the reason that a lot of these people put those out there, it's not just to protect the irrigation heads.
Yeah.
In some cases, it might be, but it's because they don't want people parking in front of their house.
Yeah.
Is there any impetus in starting some sort of a town? I mean, in these areas, if you don't want people parking around the house, it shouldn't be a place that people park. Should we stripe the roads in those areas? So that striped and no stones. That way, if it's striped, you're not supposed to park it anyway. But if the problem is all these roads are unstriped, so people would park in front of people's houses, and some of them abandon their truck for the whole weekend.
Striping only works on public ways.
Well, but that's what I mean. But these are public ways.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, there's a, you know where I'm.
This is, I know exactly.
And,
what
and
you're
they're very dangerous.
And
Grass grows over
It's
it.
not, there is not a good answer to this, but it's getting worse. Because people are just doing it everywhere, especially now they're using metal stakes, and you know, like.
Yeah,
we used to use
exactly.
And they even.
Instead of being just those little cute ones that you can kind of push over, now they're using real stuff. They will break your mirrors.
So it's a bad precedent, and someone buys in a neighborhood
Yeah.
that they see that their neighbor does it, they go, well, I could do it too. I mean, you know, they're not doing it.
I think
Be
it's a
mean
case by
there.
case, but
But
it
should we-
is.
Should we look at an overlay map of some of these areas where it is a safety problem and say, let's stripe the roads?
Cost too much. You
We don't-
guarantee you that part will be the first thing that said.
What about Don Allen? I mean, the fact that, you know.
That's in a public road. They shouldn't even have to do all that. I mean, there's no place to go.
Yeah.
No place.
No
Let's
place,
get,
yeah.
making it work.
So,
That's a
so
good
Tracy,
point.
start
Making
turning
the
out those
situation worse than
encroachment
it is.
letters.
Yeah, I got stuck out
I've
there.
already got I've got 2 to 3 big ones that I'm working on that are like encroachments you can't even imagine. And, you know, like where it border, you know, it's like, they're major. And the fact that the people thought that they could just do it is crazy.
Well, I know a road, it's a very well traveled road, but it's a public road. And the people, I know exactly what the bounds are, because my friend has sold the property. No, it's sold to the people that sold it, so I know exactly where the bounds are. But what they've done is they have a fence here, and they've actually planted a hedge forward of their fence. That's
Mhm.
given them like another 6 foot of lawn, you know, like this way.
Yeah,
That's very-
I've got 2 of those. I've got a
But I mean,
very well-known parking situation going on out in Sconset.
these,
these- So, so here's an interesting one, which, you'll appreciate, Nat. The town is, in the fall, or actually it's the state doing the project, is putting in a new bike path, on Milestone on the other side, going and it's gonna round the
behind
corner. Monomoy Village
oh, I
is,
know all about this.
is land court. If you look at their land court plan, it's definitive.
Oh, really?
The guy in the front just needs to, the town's gonna pay for it. He was playing it on the.
No, it's a done
video.
deal, you know, like we've worked out a situation with them now, but the fact that they just thought that they could do it.
It's the sixties, man. We just did what we wanted.
But if you look at that
I
60s
saw
plan, which
it.
you posted,
I couldn't
right?
believe it.
That line, that hedge line is the line.
Yeah, it is.
That's not where it is now.
Oh, he moved it.
Didn't we identify
Really?
on Surfside Road where the landscape put a fence
Didn't
in?
know he moved it.
We were talking about it a couple of years ago.
Over and over again. It's, as Ed says, it's not hard to know where the bounds of the roads are because the utility companies
Yeah.
respect it.
Right.
Yeah.
The power poles are just at the edge of the way.
Yeah.
Fire hydrants are just at the edge of the way.
Water meters in the backyard.
Mm-hmm. But I think if there becomes a sort of a routine, either license agreement or enforcement, which is part of I'm gonna start sorting through these things, that then people will start to realize that there is enforcement, and then hopefully we'll start to minimize it a little bit.
Safety issue.
And that will play into, you know, if you're all working on, you know, bringing it up, for instance.
When did they know? When did Joe rewrite that encroachment policy? What year was that?
I'd have
2012?
to look.
Because of the licensing part she's talking about was how we came
Okay.
up with the way to solve all the stuff in town.
Not the easy way to answer your question is DPW website, encroachment policy, and there'll be a date of
Yeah.
action in
Because
there.
that is right what Tracy's talking about right now, where for example, Tracy, like, all right, I don't like bringing this up. But like when you pull out a Gosel, for example, you know, you in night, it's safer,
Right,
like sometimes. Wind Street going one way will solve that. Encroachment's been there since whatever. It's pretty bad. There was actually an
Yeah, I
accident
know.
there the other day. Pulling out of Wind Street in the daytime is nearly Coffin Road, Tom Nevis. That's the worst, and that's brand new,
Especially if you got a large vehicle, because you actually encroach.
just to see. But it is really, really
Yeah.
difficult coming out of there, okay? So, but as I recall, when we did this, there was a big discussion. We had a lot of discussions about the stuff that's sort of existing and it's not bothering anyone.
Exactly.
Especially the friendship stairs and all that kind of stuff, variable width roads. But then you have the ones that have like Washington Ave and Scott Matticat is a 50-foot layout.
Yeah.
It's a bigger layout than Matticat Road.
Exactly.
Now, how many people know this? 2, 5, not many.
So and
So
actually,
it's complicated when you start
Bill
talking
knows.
about these
and
things.
actually the town, because of the time, the chief, and the traffic safety group, they weighed in on it and they wanted to do a survey, and the road was actually surveyed, and they identified the massive encroachment. So I
Yeah.
would say it's probably
Traditional.
the most documented road of encroachment that we have
Washington Ave,
in our archives.
yeah.
And, you know, unfortunately, something wasn't worked out, because the simple solution was to just stripe one side. Because the people that brought it to us, they just wanted to be able to walk down a side and not have to walk in and out of vehicles. That was the whole.
Oh, yeah, it's not millions.
Request.
True.
And so that hasn't happened, and that's hanging out there, but it is
Yeah.
the most documented that I know of encroachment issue.
Tracy, I'd shake your hand, my hands are dirty, but I really appreciate what you're doing. I know
Thank
that
you.
this is
Hopefully
gonna
I'll-
be. don't
hopefully
get-
I'll be able to
it's-
follow
It's a
through.
very positive position, it's a positive, all the things are good, it's just never was done until we, in the last
I know.
15 years. No one ever talked about this.
No pressure.
And Tracy's title insurance, title search background is in back, so.
Yeah.
It is kind of nice.
And no pressure, Tracy. So
This
other
is,
than that,
I actually do really enjoy this type of stuff, and,
Historic.
and I have a way with the
Right.
people, I think,
Well,
but,
we talk
because
about this every month, so maybe you'd like to come more often.
maybe, I
oh,
mean,
she's gonna be copied on the agenda, so.
Yeah,
yeah, Libby asked me to be here. There's a
And
couple
Drew is
different
copied,
meetings
right?
that I do attend, or I at least monitor.
Yeah.
Sometimes if I can't, I just will watch it later and then, reach out. So I do monitor kind of everything, and there's a lot on the agenda going forward, so, you know, new stuff, old stuff, so.
Yeah.
It's good, but I do think, you know, particularly with the encroachments, it is something that they wanna kind of clean up. Not necessarily go around being mean
Yeah.
to everybody, just,
Right.
you know, clean up, like you said, the larger ones that are, if it's just a license agreement or something like that,
it was supposed to be, as I recall, the policy talked about when the house sells, if there's a transfer, that it all has to be
Yeah.
redone on their plot plan. This
Yeah.
set of stairs on Fair Street in the middle of the sidewalk is not yours.
that has come up. I mean,
But you've gotta
it's
pay
in my,
for it.
in my history as a, you know, doing real estate closings, that has come up. Where
Okay,
we'd
yeah.
have to get we have to get a license.
Something. Yeah.
Yep,
She's one of banks.
yeah,
Well,
Actually,
Yeah.
you know, one
The
of the
gift,
one of the
really.
things that we talked about, when we were looking at different areas that needed taking or whatever, and one of them was Stone Alley.
Yeah.
And so we had talked about the disrepair of it, and the DPW went out and assessed it, and the town ended up deciding to go the easement route rather than the taking route. And Ed's suggestion, he let me know a week or two ago to take a swing by, and
That's,
they've done a really good job of
Yeah.
opening that up.
Yeah.
Put that fence up, they cut the bush back.
Yeah.
It
it looks
does-
good, I just saw it.
It does make it even more obvious how unsteady it is. Walking.
But it's not marked. In other words, there's no little sign that says Stone Alley.
The secrets.
Is it supposed to be a secret kind, or is it supposed to be like?
I would, I mean. all
Just
of it,
ask.
They used to have.
Should be on the
I know,
Union
I went
Street
by
side.
The other day and I was pointing it out to my wife and of course we were crawling along just to make sure we had because there are a couple
Yeah.
of entrances and there's no sign there.
I think there used to be one on the
There is one on the Orange Street part.
Used to be one of the
Union Street, Union Street Inn sign. I
There
think.
was?
Years ago,
Okay,
when the Indian Trail was, I don't know if you can say Indian Trail anymore, but when the Indian Trail was in existence.
Yeah.
Cause you come.
You know
go
what?
alley.
I think it was a little one on a fence or something,
Yeah,
low,
It was on the fence.
yes, okay,
It was.
I think he's right about
And it
that.
might have been
Yeah.
removed because of the.
Well,
construction.
That's something that-
King's College room.
I think it should be put back somewhere that's tactful and low and similar,
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think
Somebody's got a
it's
picture of
just
that.
little black and white sign that said Stone Alley.
yeah,
Well, who's the guy that makes the little signs?
oh, that's,
Ray Silver.
great, Yeah. that's a good idea. Because the one up the other end doesn't mean anything, it's like just the road.
Well, it's a driveway, you get a road and there.
I was in the house the other day in the shop and we were walking through, taking a look at it. And there was a sign, one of these signs, somebody
Taken,
taking it.
that's why I said what I said earlier, I haven't seen this yet.
Well, for Tracy and Alan, Drew Patno tells me that brand new signs are being developed for Alter Rock Road and Historic Cemetery. Because the last time I was out there, they were gone.
Somebody took them,
Yeah, they took them down a couple of weeks ago.
that's too bad.
Of course, they were all, the one on the road was all peeling apart and,
I think they should coat them with super glue, so if somebody touches
So
them,
you put them in with a torque screw or something,
Yeah.
so nobody.
Something that no one has in their pocket.
So I
Yeah.
hear Bill wants to use the dye that the banks use on their bags of stolen money.
we might, we could make that as a, submittal to a town meeting. All right, that being said, if there is no other.
So moved.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded to adjourn. And we will do. a roll call.
Okay,
Oh, we
Phil,
got
Phil
Bob is on.
moved, who seconded?
Rob's on.
Now,
Aye, oh,
So, since, we're ready to go, Alan Reinhardt,
aye.
Lee Saperstein,
aye.
Matt Lowell.
aye.
Bill Smith.
Aye.
Ed Gillum.
Aye.
Rob Ranning.
Aye.
You're so quiet, Rob. I forgot about you.
And Bill Critter says aye. Thank you very much, everybody, and, we'll see you at the next meeting.
Say, Nat,
Yes, sir.
I don't know if you're aware of